A 92-year-old man froze to death inside his own home last week, not because he didn't have a heater, but because Nashville's entire power grid collapsed and nobody came to help. The temperature inside his house dropped to 47 degrees below zero. He's one of 153 people who didn't survive Winter Storm Fern. And right now, the same Arctic pattern is sitting over half the country. Detroit is at 8 degrees as I'm recording this. Burlington, Vermont is at 12 with wind chills hitting negative 30. And the model that dropped at 4 a.m. this morning is showing a second system forming that wasn't there yesterday. Drop your city in the comments right now because I've got 50 plus cities to cover. And I'm making a prediction at the end that I want you to screenshot and hold me accountable for tomorrow. But first, I got to tell you what actually happened in Nashville because the news isn't covering the part that should make you angry. 230,000 homes lost power. Some families sat in the dark for 2 full weeks. And when volunteer electrical workers showed up to help, you know what the utility company told them? Nah, we're good. That's an actual quote. Leaked emails confirmed it. Qualified crews ready to restore power, and they got turned away at the door. Meanwhile, a 39-year-old father named Almeo Martinez died from carbon monoxide poisoning because he ran a generator inside his home trying to keep his kids from freezing. His neighbor said it straight. People are just trying not to freeze to death. And that wasn't drama. That was literally what was happening. The mayor called the utility response wholly unacceptable and signed an executive order to investigate. But here's the thing. Nobody's been fired yet. Nobody's been held accountable. 700 utility poles snapped like twigs. The entire backbone of Nashville's grid fell apart. And the same thing could happen to your city if the power goes out in this cold. That's why I need you to pay attention to these numbers. Not just temperatures, but what happens if your grid fails tonight. Quick shout out to Marcus in Buffalo who commented yesterday saying he saw squalls 20 minutes before they showed on radar. Y'all are literally helping each other stay alive, and I love that. All right, let me explain what we're dealing with, because once you see the big picture, you'll understand why I'm genuinely concerned about the next 72 hours. The polar vortex is doing this thing where it sends lobes of Arctic air straight down from Canada, like a river of cold just pouring over the Great Lakes and Northeast. On top of that, we've got clipper systems, these fast-moving disturbances that race across and drop quick-hitting snow, usually ½ inch to 3 inches. But here's where it gets interesting. The 4 a.m. model run this morning showed a second clipper forming behind the first one, and if it tracks 50 miles further south than currently projected, some cities could see double the snow. I'm watching this extremely closely because the overnight runs have been trending colder and snowier for the past 3 days straight. That's not a coincidence. Now let me hit the cities that actually need to hear this. Starting with the Northeast, where this Arctic air is absolutely brutal right now. New York City, 27 degrees, wind chill near zero, traced to 1 inch from squalls, roads are slick, I-95 is a mess, and if you're commuting tomorrow, leave 30 minutes early minimum. Boston, 21 degrees, wind chill -10, traced to 2 inches from squalls, real concern about power outages because those wind gusts are hitting 50 miles per hour. And Boston, let me be real, your grid held up during Fern, but you're not invincible. If lines start snapping tonight, you're looking at the same situation Nashville had. Philadelphia, 25 degrees, wind chill -5, trace snow, extreme cold warning in effect. Frostbite risk in under 10 minutes on exposed skin. Pittsburgh, 22 degrees, wind chill -15, traced to 1 inch. And here's the thing, your above ground power lines are vulnerable in exactly the same way Nashville's were. Buffalo, 20 degrees, wind chill -20, 1 to 3 inches lake effect. Y'all are built different, but even for you, this is rough. Travel disruptions expected all night. Now here's my first prediction. Screenshot this. Buffalo ends up with over 4 inches by tomorrow morning. If I'm wrong, roast me in the comments. If I'm right, you owe me a subscribe. Syracuse, 19 degrees, 1 to 2 inches lake effect. Rochester at 20 degrees with 1 to 3 inches. The entire I-90 corridor is a slip and slide right now. Albany, 18 degrees, wind chill -20, genuine Arctic air mass. And I talked to someone there yesterday who said their car battery was completely dead this morning. Hartford, 22 degrees, wind chill -10, 1 to 2 inches. Power outage concerns are real. If you haven't charged your devices, do it now while you still have power. Portland, Maine, 15 degrees, wind chill -25. Officials are straight up telling people to stay indoors. This is the kind of cold that can kill you in 30 minutes if you're unprepared. Manchester at 17, Burlington at 12 degrees with wind chill crashing to -30. That's frostbite on exposed skin in under 5 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. Are any of y'all in New England seeing squalls right now? Drop the exact location in the comments. I'm comparing what you're reporting with what the radar is showing me. Baltimore at 28, Washington, D.C. at 30. You're just above freezing during the day, but don't get comfortable. Overnight temps are dropping hard and your pipes are at risk. Newark and Jersey City, 26 to 27 degrees, same deal as New York. Trace snow from squalls, watch the bridges, they freeze first. Providence at 23, trace snow, bitter cold. If you're driving on I-95 tonight between Boston and New York, give yourself double the normal time. All right, Midwest, this is where that Clipper system is doing its thing right now. And this is also where I'm seeing that second system potentially forming. Detroit. And I got to be straight with you. 8 degrees right now. That's the coldest major city in America as I'm recording this. Wind chill -15, 1 to 2 inches. If your car is parked outside in Detroit tonight, there's about a 50-50 chance it doesn't start tomorrow. That's not me being dramatic. That's just what single-digit temps do to batteries. Chicago, 25 degrees, wind chill -10, traced to 1 inch from the Clipper. And here's the part that concerns me about the second system. If that second Clipper tracks where I think it might, Chicago could be looking at another 2 to 3 inches on top of this by Wednesday. I'll know more after tonight's midnight run. Cleveland, 22 degrees. 1 to 2 inches lake effect. That lake effect machine just keeps cranking. Visibility dropping to near 0 in squalls. Grand Rapids, you're in the bullseye right now. 21 degrees, 1 to 3 inches, and I'm going to make another prediction. You overperform tonight. Someone out there wakes up to 4 inches. Milwaukee at 24, Minneapolis at 20 with wind chill -20. St. Paul at 19. Hypothermia warnings are up across the entire Twin Cities metro. Even for Minnesota, this is brutal. And if you're one of those people who says, this is nothing, I've seen worse, cool. But your neighbor might not be as prepared as you. Check on them. Indianapolis at 28, Columbus at 26 with 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Cincinnati at 30, Louisville at 38. You're on the southern edge, but still cold enough for ice on bridges. Madison at 23, Des Moines at 26, Omaha at 28, Toledo at 24, Kansas City at 32, St. Louis at 34. The entire heartland is feeling this Arctic push. Take a breath, y'all. We're about halfway through the cities. But I need to tell you something that just showed up on the extended models that has me genuinely worried. Looking at the day 10 to 15 range, there's a pattern shift forming that could set up something much bigger than what we're dealing with right now. I'm not ready to make a call on it yet because I need to see tonight's runs, but if you're in the Ohio Valley or Mid-Atlantic, you're going to want to watch tomorrow's video very closely. The European and GFS are both hinting at a potential storm around the 17th to 19th that could track right through the areas that got hammered by Fern. If that verifies, and I'm saying if, we could be talking about a significant snow and ice event for cities that still haven't fully recovered from 2 weeks ago. That's why this matters. That's why I'm tracking this so closely, because these cities cannot handle another hit right now. Now let me talk about the South real quick, because this is where the stakes are actually highest, even though the temperatures look fine. Nashville at 40, Memphis at 42, Atlanta at 48, Birmingham at 50, Charlotte at 45, Raleigh at 46. Yeah, the numbers look great, but here's the reality. 75% of power lines in these cities are still above ground. The same infrastructure that failed during Fern, and most of it hasn't been fixed or upgraded. Nashville still has 700 snapped poles they're trying to replace, and forecasters are saying we're shifting to El Nino conditions, which means fewer storms, but each one hits harder. One bad ice storm is all it takes. That's the lesson from Fern. 153 people gone because of one storm that nobody thought would be that bad. So yeah, enjoy your 40s and 50s right now, but if you're in the South, have a plan, know where your warming center is, have blankets and flashlights ready. New Orleans at 58, Little Rock at 42, Oklahoma City at 45, Tulsa at 43. Y'all are good for now, but stay alert. This pattern is volatile. Texas, after Uri in 2021 and Fern in 2026, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but your grid is not fixed. Experts still don't trust it to handle another major event. Houston at 55, Dallas at 48, San Antonio at 52, Austin at 50, Fort Worth at 47. Enjoy the mild weather, but have a backup plan ready, period. Florida and West Coast, y'all are fine. 60s to 70s across the board. Miami at 72, Tampa at 68, LA at 60, San Diego at 62, Phoenix at 68. Drop a comment just to make the rest of us jealous, but also maybe check on family members up north because they might actually need help right now. Seattle at 45 with some rain, Portland at 48, San Francisco at 55, Denver at 35 with record low snowfall this season. Salt Lake, same story at 38. Honolulu at 78 because of course it is. And honestly at this point, I don't blame anyone booking a one-way flight. All right, now I need everyone to lock in for safety because after watching 153 people die, I'm not holding back on this part. The number one killer during Fern wasn't the cold itself. It was carbon monoxide from people running generators inside trying to stay warm. Almeo Martinez was 39 years old. He had kids. He made a desperate decision to keep them from freezing, and it cost him his life. That didn't have to happen. Generators outside, away from windows and doors, 20 feet minimum, no exceptions. Carbon monoxide has no smell, and by the time you feel dizzy, it might be too late. Families in Nashville were burning firewood inside their living rooms, huddling under every blanket they owned like it was the 1800s. That's how desperate it got. Check on your neighbors, especially elderly folks living alone. That 92-year-old man who froze to death, someone could have knocked on his door and saved his life. If you're in the Northeast or Midwest right now, know where your local warming center is. Have your phone charged. Have flashlights ready. Assume the power could go out tonight. Pets inside, period. If it's too cold for you to stand outside for 10 minutes, it's too cold for your dog. I say this every video, and people still don't listen. Keep an emergency kit in your car. Blankets, water, flashlight, phone charger. Because if you get stranded on I-90 tonight in these temps, it's life or death within an hour. Now let me tell you what I'm watching overnight and why tomorrow's video might be the most important one I've done this month. That second clipper I mentioned, the midnight model run, is going to tell me if it tracks north and fizzles or if it dips south and overperforms. If it dips south, Detroit could go from 2 inches to 5, Chicago from 1 inch to 4, Grand Rapids could end up buried, and the timing would hit right during Wednesday morning commute. On top of that, I'm tracking the day 10 to 15 pattern shift that could set up something major for the Mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley around the 17th to 19th. Both the European and GFS are showing a potential significant storm that would track through areas still recovering from Fern. That's worst case scenario for those cities. I'll be up until at least 1 a.m. watching these runs, and if anything shifts significantly, I'll have an update out by 6 a.m. so you know before your morning commute. All right, let me give you the 4 things on my radar, and these are what I need you to keep on yours for the next 72 hours. Number 1, tonight's wind chills, -20 to -30 across the Northeast and Great Lakes. Frostbite in minutes. This is not the night to be outside if you don't have to be. Number 2, the Clipper, bringing 1 to 3 inches to Michigan, Ohio, and western New York, with that second system potentially doubling totals by midweek. Number 3, power outage risk from 50 to 60 miles per hour gusts. If Nashville taught us anything, it's that the grid can fail when you least expect it. Be ready. Number 4, That day 10 to 15 storm signal I mentioned, if it verifies, we could be looking at a repeat of Fern for cities that can't handle another hit. Here's my final prediction for tonight, and I want you to screenshot this and come back tomorrow to see if I was right. Buffalo over 4 inches, Grand Rapids over 4 inches, and at least one city that I said would get 1 to 2 ends up with 4 or more, because that's how clippers work. They surprise you. If I'm wrong on all 3, I'll admit it in tomorrow's video. But if I'm right, smash that subscribe button because it means I'm reading these models correctly. What region do you want me to go deeper on tomorrow? I'm seeing a lot of requests for Ohio Valley breakdown and Texas grid analysis. Drop it in the comments. If you know someone in Detroit, Buffalo, or any of these hard-hit cities, send in this video right now. The information about power outage risk could literally save their life. After watching 153 people not make it through the last storm and watching the utility company turn away volunteers while people froze, I'm done sugarcoating anything. If your city is at risk, I'm going to tell you, and if the models shift overnight, I'll have an update out before you even wake up. Smash that like button if this helped. It makes a massive difference getting these forecasts to more people when dangerous weather is actively happening. Subscribe if you haven't, because this pattern is far from over, and that day 10 to 15 storm could be the biggest story of February. You don't want to miss that. Stay warm tonight, check on your neighbors, keep your pets inside, charge your devices, and remember, 153 families would give anything to have their loved ones back. Don't take unnecessary risks, don't assume your grid will hold, and don't leave your neighbor alone in the cold. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning with the overnight model updates, and we'll see if my predictions were right. Appreciate every single one of you. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you in a few hours. Peace.